This past year, we've seen a huge shift in how pickleball is played. It's changed from being a game where you try to outlast your opponents by dinking them to death, to a game where literally every shot is an opportunity to apply pressure on your opponents and attack. Since 2020, pickleball has consistently grown by 50% year to year. And with this new influx of players coming in 2025, you can't possibly win by doing what you've always done. Lots of people have the opinion that pickleball is quickly turning into tennis, where you have to hit every single shot hard in order to win. Lucky for pickleball, we have the kitchen, so dinking will always be a major part of the game. That said, it's my opinion that just hitting dead dinks won't be enough to win in 2025. One of my good friends, H, who's been on my past videos, is one of the head referees for the PPA, and he recently took a trip to Japan where pickleball is absolutely taking off right now. He texted me about how he had seen my most recent video about modern pickleball and how some of the play that he saw in Japan will shape how pickleball changes in the year of 2025. He said, "I just came back from a tournament in Japan, saw some play that I think will shape the game in the next few years. There's this new table tennis player from Taiwan, still making a lot of mistakes, but is a paddle wizard. Will carve the power players up when he gets more pickle under his belt. When a ball is driven at him, he just flicks it away. So you need to make a perfect drop/drive from the baseline because you won't get another chance at it. I think a paddle wizard like this will reign when they learn to play the game more generally. Pro Mari Humberg has a few flicks, but this guy made her look pretty basic." So it's not just going to be power that wins in 2025, it's going to be an influx of all of these players coming from different countries to play the game of pickleball like we've never seen before. And through my extensive research throughout the past few years of watching pickleball change, I've come up with 10 specific things that the best of the best players are doing that you need to start doing to not only win in 2025, but absolutely dominate. Let's open the playbook. Number one is hitting big serves. Prozane Navratil recently said that if you're not missing a few of your serves long, then you're not hitting your serve hard enough. A lot of people out there are really stuck in their ways and are of the opinion that the serve is just to start the point, to just lob it in. But as pickleball continues to change, you absolutely will be left behind because the serve is only going to become more weaponized as time goes on. We're already seeing it in 2024 at the pro level, where players are hitting way more aces than they have in the past. With that, they're also missing more serves long. So as they continue to hone these in and become more consistent, the serve will not only be to start the point, but it will become more and more of a weapon as time goes on. Now, I'm not saying that you should just show up to your rec game tomorrow and start hitting the ball as hard as you can every single serve that you have and miss 80% of them. You obviously need to get out and you need to practice prior to actually implementing it in a game. Mark my words when I say that this next year, you're gonna see a lot of points instantly finished just from the serve. Number two is offensive third shots. The vast majority of players are starting to drive the third shot rather than drop it so that they can get an easier drop on the fifth shot and move into the net where all things are equal. And I'm not saying to drive every single third shot. There are times when you obviously want to drop instead of drive. The times that you want to be dropping majority of the time is if the ball is short and low. The reason that you want to drop the ball whenever it is short and low instead of drive it is because you have to hit upwards on the ball when it's low. Low meaning it's below the net tape. So since we have to hit up, if we drive that shot, 9 times out of 10, the point is instantly finished by the player hitting it directly at the foot of the player that just drove the ball. So the saying goes, if the ball is short and low, keep it slow. If the ball is short and high, let it fly. Now, if the return ever comes in deep, majority of the time you want to hit a drive on that shot because you're in a defensive position. Since the ball is landing deep, you want to hit a drive so that you can get it on your opponent as quickly as possible and set yourself up for an easier fifth shot. Other than that, drive majority of the time at the returner because they're transitioning forward, so they're not in an optimal position to be offensive with the ball. By the way, this video is brought to you by Titan Ball Machines, and today is the last day that you can get $200 off your own Titan Ball Machine. They're normally $100 off, so if you're watching this after Christmas has passed, you can still get that discount. But it's the best ball machine because it feels like you're actually hitting against a human. It can hit you balls in every single direction, one ball at the baseline, the next ball at the kitchen line. And what's super nice is that you don't have to go back and forth to your machine to control it. You can control it all from your cell phone. There's also a Titan Drills library, so they already have tons of drills already input into the app. And what else is super nice is that you can take a drill from your friend's app and upload it into your app. Or let's say that you created a drill, you can share it with your friend. So it's the best ball machine, it has the best technology. You can get $100 off by going through the link at the top of the description of this video. Now back to the video. Number three is to attack from mid-court. Now we see players like Quang Duan, Christian Alshon, and Gabe Tardio attacking majority of balls at mid-court instead of resetting them. The rule of thumb to use is if the ball is ever above knee level, you want to attack that ball at mid-court. If it's ever below knee level and landing near your feet, you want to reset that ball into the kitchen. The reason that it's brilliant to attack from this position is because with your added forward momentum as you're moving into the court, you're adding extra speed onto your ball. So I promise that if you start attacking from mid-court on any balls that are above knee level, your opponents are going to feel a ton of pressure and you're going to win a whole lot of points just from that shot. And if not from that shot, they're going to pop up the next shot. So make sure that you're ready to put that next shot away. Number 4 is to perfect your mid-court reset. You don't need a perfect drop if you have a perfect reset. And the reason that you want to be really good at resetting is so that you can easily get up to the net every single time and create offense. Again, remember that we're only resetting balls that are below knee level. Number 5 is to start taking dinks out of the air. Now, I don't mean that we're making ourselves uncomfortable in taking dinks out of the air. The rule of thumb to use is that if you're comfortable taking it out of the air, you should 100% of the time take it out of the air. The more that you can take the dink out of the air, the quicker that you can get the ball on your opponents. And obviously the quicker that it gets to your opponents, the less time that they have to react. So this a lot of the time will just cause a pop-up, even if it's a dead dink out of the air. Obviously you want to be practicing hitting more offensive dinks out of the air with topspin, but for starters, just practice getting comfortable taking those balls out of the air, even if it's totally flat. The best part about taking a dink out of the air is that your opponents don't know if you're speeding up that ball or you're going to dink it. And so this builds anxiety in them and makes them feel more pressure than if you were to let that ball bounce. This is one of my favorite exercises to do to figure out what dinks I can take out of the air and what dinks I should let bounce. So if you bend your knees, you actually have way more reach than if you stay straight up and down. So for this exercise, the first thing that you need to do is bend your knees, because you should be bending your knees, especially when you're hitting dinks out of the air. So I bend my knees, and then I'm just going to bring my paddle all the way to the ground. So I know that I can comfortably reach in from this position and get about that far to take dinks out of the air. So now that I know that that's my comfort baseline, anything that is past this point, I never want to take it out of the air. If you're uncomfortable and you're trying to make your opponents uncomfortable, it rarely works out and you're just going to make a mistake. So know that this is your baseline. Obviously this is my specific baseline, but you'll know where your baseline is, where you feel comfortable taking those dinks out of the air after performing this exercise. Number 6 is to learn to dink with topspin. All of the pros that once had just strictly one-handed backhand dinks and only hit flat forehand dinks now have changed to two-handed topspin dinks and have gotten way better at hitting forehand topspin dinks. We've even seen the best of the best player, Ben Johns, start to hit a two-handed topspin dink whenever he has an offensive opportunity. He still uses one hand majority of the time, but whenever a ball kind of sits up, he's going to take that as an opportunity to be offensive. And if you've ever played against someone that has really good topspin dinks, you'll know that you come at a huge disadvantage if all that you can do is just hit dead dinks or even slice dinks. I actually recently made a video on how to hit dinks with topspin, and you can watch that right here. Number 7 is to practice speeding up from everywhere. We've seen from the pros even this last year that you can literally speed up a ball from any position. Now, I'm not saying that you should make stupid decisions and just start speeding up from every single position, but in practice, you should figure out where your baseline is and where you can speed up consistently from, and then start doing that in rec games as you continue to practice it more and more. Everybody obviously has a different baseline on what would be a smart shot for some because they can get it in consistently, and then for others, it's like absolutely impossible. So challenge yourself in drilling and then make smart decisions when you get into a rec game or a match. In 2024, we've already seen where players are speeding up balls directly off the bounce. They're speeding up balls where they're reaching into the kitchen and they can barely reach the ball. They're making crazy decisions, but they can do it consistently. So with practice, you really can speed up from any position. Number 8 is to learn how to counter with a two-handed backhand. For lots of players, it feels so awkward to do a two-handed backhand volley, so they try it once and then they're like, yeah, I'm never doing that again. I don't want to say that it's essential for 2025, but 2026 and onwards, you're gonna need to have that in your arsenal in order to not only put more power on the ball, but have more control in your defense. Because as soon as the ball gets away from our body, it's way easier to counter with two hands than it is with one. And that's just simply because you don't have as much control with one hand as you do with two. So the rule of thumb with a backhand counter is to counter with one hand if it's ever coming at your body. And if it's ever to the side of your body, counter with two hands and you'll have way more control and power. Number 9 is to improve your mental game. Now, a lot of people hear mental game and they automatically just say, nope, not for me, I don't care, I just want to learn the skills. But I would suggest that the mental game accounts for 80% of how you perform out on the court. Now, I'm not saying how you perform in a rec match, but I'm saying how you perform in an actual match that counts. When your palms get sweaty, your knees are weak, and your arms are heavy. There's a pressure out there when you get into a match, and if you have the right mental state, you can overcome that pressure, and then all you have to focus on is your skills. And if you've put in the work prior to actually coming to that tournament, you know that you're gonna perform well. A book that was an absolute game changer for my mental game is called It's All in Your Head by Russ. I'll be sure to link it in the description of this video for you to check out. I strongly suggest reading it. And that brings us to number 10, which is focused drilling. Everything that we've talked about today needs to be drilled. There's this really cool tool called the Pickleball Drills app that has hundreds of different drills that are specifically taught by the pros. So they have tips and instruction in there to help you not only do the drill and improve your muscle memory, but also to see into these pros' minds and what they're thinking so that you can have the most optimal drilling session that you've ever had. So if you want to train with the pros, go to pballdrills.app, or you can click this link right here and join the Pickleball Drills community. All right, guys, we've talked about a lot today, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, but if you clicked on this video, it's because you want to improve your pickleball game, and that's really the first step in getting better at pickleball. So kudos to you for clicking on the video. I can promise you that as you apply these 10 things, the year of 2025 will be the best year of pickleball that you've ever had. If you want to see more videos from me, be sure to subscribe and watch this video right here if you want to keep improving your pickleball game. See you on the next one.
Pickleball Playbook.